Welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to design the overlay for the business, category selection, and also, make some component for this particular selection here, and that of how you hear about us. But before you proceed, I would like us to remove the frame outside as the content frame. Take it outside. Then we're going to update one or two things here, and some also components are missing. We're going to add them, and icons and all that. So here we're going to this form fields. You're going to select it and update the color, reduce the opacity to 50%. That's the only thing you're going to do that across all the form fields. Then the placeholder text here, you're also going to reduce the opacity to 50%. That is the only changes. And here we're going to add icons for the password. You can use key or icon, any one of them that is suitable for you. They are all compatible for password. Then you can go to your phosphor icon and search for and we're going to select this and add it there. So you take it and put it inside the password frame here. Then we're going to reduce the opacity to 50. All right, so make sure you align it to the center of the frame, and also select the text and align the two. Let it properly align, center the line. Then you can also make a duplicate, Alt key, drag and put it inside the second frame, and also align it to the center of the frame. Okay, now if you select the icon here, you can see it's around 304, right? So you come here and also make the x-axis to be 304. All right, so we are done with that. So I think this is complete now, so we can take it back to the frame. Now before that, all right, that's fine. Let's just take it back to the frame and send it to the back like this, and align it to the center of the inner frame. So now we're going to design the selection drop down for the business category. So this is where we have a lot of work to do. So I want you to pay close attention. I'll be taking it step by step until we achieve the whole process, right? So now we want to create an overlay that has a selection for user to select the category of business. Then from there, they will be able to now proceed. So what you're going to do, we are going to, create selection drop down here using another frame. Then once we finish, we can now use that frame as an overlay. All right, so let's select our frame of iPhone. Make sure you select the same iPhone you are using. So I'm using 14, so I can name this as overlay selection drop down. All right, so now we have this. So we're going to include a lot of drop downs inside this selection box. But before that, let's minimize the width to 380. So this is fine, like this. So let's take another frame. Let's take another frame of 350 and the height to 50. And you can put this frame as content. All right, so now this frame, we're going to take a text and start putting our selections, right? So in this selection, that is where we list out all the businesses that are going to be under the category. So we take a text to write fashion and clothing. Okay, then we take it inside the frame should be inside this frame here like this. Alright, so I would like us to update it to 14 semi-bold or 14 medium. 14 medium, that's what I'm looking at. This is it. Then let's select our circle tool and make it 20 by 20. I'll drag it and put it here somewhere to the end of this. So let me close this place and zoom in so that you see clearly. So this circle tool, we're going to remove the fill and give it a stroke of 1. Then the stroke should be outside. Alright, so now let's select the circle and out of the text and align them and group them together. Then we can now align them into the center of the content frame like this. Alright, so one more thing we're gonna do is to select the two together and update their text color to height, and this field too, we change it to height. Alright, now this content frame, we also remove the background and give it a stroke, and this stroke should be here at the bottom, and the stroke color should be white. Then the opacity of the stroke color should be 20, just 20 like this. I think one more thing to do, this circle is a bit big, so select the circle, let's scale it down to 17 and see. Perfect, so 17 is okay. Select the text and make sure they are also aligned together. So you can ungroup them first, then select the text, hold down your shift key and select the circle and align them like this before you now group them together. Ctrl G or Command G, then you can now align them to the center of the frame. Alright, we're done with that. Now what we're going to do is to put this inside this frame. Let's put it inside this frame and change the background of the frame to black color. Can make it 010101. Alright, so this frame will be inside here. So what we're going to do more is to duplicate it, Alt key, duplicate, 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 so on and so forth. They will now update all the text. Alright, so now what we're going to do now is to update the text. So let's go to the second text, double click there and write beauty and fashion. Okay, and go to the third one and write electronics and gadgets. The next one, home and furniture. Go to the next one, health and wellness. Let's go to the next one. I think we still have space. We can duplicate this one more and change this text to food and beverages. Then go to the next one, then the arts and crafts. Alright, then go to the next one, update the text to automotive accessories, and let's duplicate that one more and update the text to sports and fitness. Right, update it, duplicate one more. Let's F to be capital letter. Then let's go to tech and gadgets. Right, and let's take the frame up and increase the heights because can add more content. Let's add more party supplies. All right, let's add one more, import and export. Okay, then home services. All right, so I think so far it's okay like this. So I'm gonna zoom out a bit so you can add more content based on the brand category, brand category, so that it will align. So now we're going to select all of them together and align them and also distribute the vertical spacing. So I think it's okay like this. What you're going to do next is to select the text and align them into the center of the frame. And one more thing we're also going to do is select only the circles, and make sure they are aligned to the center. So if you have difficulty selecting them, you can ungroup them first, then you select them at once. Then you can now align them into the center to each other. So still selecting mine, so I can now use this to align them properly. Alright, so I'm going to do that to menu 2. So I can select this, select that, like this one too as well, and also align them to the center. So this way your circles will be in the same straight line, and also the text will be in the middle of the frame. So you select that and do that manually. So you take your time to perfect it. So I'll do my own better. So alright, so now everything is okay. So what you're going to do more, let's select this and just close the frame a bit. Alright, so now we're going to create another frame. So let's just duplicate this frame like this, okay, and remove all the content inside, select all and delete it. Okay, so this is going to be the overlay frame. So here overlay selection drop down. Then here you can hit overlay selection content. All right, so now what we're going to do here, we're going to give it a corner radius of 25. All right, then we're going to reduce the height to something like this. I think this is perfect. Okay, because we want it to be an overlay, so we don't want it to close the entire screen. So you can leave the height to 360. Then that's okay. Now we're going to take this frame and put it here inside here. Then align it to the center and also snap it up like this. Okay, so now what you're going to do, we will make it scrollable. So we're going to select the drop down and go to the prototype and make it to vertical scrolling. All right, so that's, to be able to select that. So we are done with that. Now before we proceed, there's one more thing we need to do, which is going to be the component. We want to make this yes or no to also be clickable. We still have more to go here, but let's do this since that one is not going to take time. So let's click on this and bring it out from the frame. So and make the add component to it. All right, so we're going to add component to it, create component, then we'll add property as variant. Okay, so in this variant we're going to have this as select state. All right, so this select state, that is where you usually have the option to click yes or no and all that. So in the select state here, we're going to click and link them together. So this yes, if user click on yes, it should be directed to the second one. So in this second frame here, we're going to double tap on it and change the fill back to black. All right, then this second one too, we change the fill back to we're going to create one more and change the fill, this second one, we'll change it to black. All right, so here let's go back to our variants. We can name this as select state no. All right, then we can rename this select state yes. Okay, select state yes. So now we are done with this. So it's for us to now connect them together, right? So going to our prototype, I'm going to select this yes and connect it to this frame, right? Then connect this no, connect it to this frame. All right, so I think that's that. And let's say user click on yes again, this should be sent back to this frame. And if no is already there, then this one is already connected. So that is done. So here can I say select register. Okay, so now we can take this component and put it in our components page. So if you have not created component page, just go and create a new page and name it as component. All right, so we go back. I'm going to bring this and take it back to our component page, Ctrl X, and go and paste it in our component page. So we have that one here now like this. All right, so let's go back to our design and go to our assets and our local assets. Then we drag it and bring it back to the frame like this. So to make sure it's uniform, we might want to detach it first from the main frame. All right, and make sure you align it to the center of the frame. So select the two and make sure the horizontal spacing, vertical spacing remain as 30. So if we check here and here, should be remain the same 30. All right, that is perfect. So we're done with that. We're going to zoom out now and bring it back to the frame and align it to the center. So take it up like this and send it to the back. All right, this is working perfectly now. Now the next step we're going to do is to now connect our selection drop down list with our content. But remember, we have one more, right, which is the how did you hear about us. So for that one, we're going to duplicate this and also design another one. I'm just going to update the text. So here we'll change the name to how did you hear about us. Okay, so now we have this. What we're going to do is to detach the main frame and update all the text to the one we're going to include. So this time it's going to be social media. Let's say Twitter. So come to the second one, Facebook. Come to the third one, it's Instagram. Come to the next one. So it's a line to the center. That will not come back again to do that. Center alignment, and this one to center alignment. All right. So let's go to the next one. Say WhatsApp. Go to the next one. This time we can put orders or all that. So make it Snapchat. Let's say physical events. Physical events. Let's go to the next one. Which other one do you think we say? Let's say referral. Referral, maybe by friends and family. Then the last one, then put it as orders. Right. So select the inner frame and also align them to the center. So align them to the center, and this one to also align them to the center. Then we can delete the rest since we don't need them. Delete it, and let me zoom out a bit. Select this frame, then we reduce the length like this. Now one more thing, our texts are not perfectly aligned, so we are going to do that. So align them, so you can align them to the center and group them first. Let's ungroup them first so that we can do it properly. All right, so ungroup them. Let me zoom in so that you can have clear view. Ungroup this one, ungroup it, ungroup it, and also ungroup it. So that way you can achieve is maybe you add auto layer to the two so that you can use spacing to modify it. But if you don't want to go through that process, just ungroup them. Then you select them one after the other and now align them to the position you want. So like me, I'll use the left alignment like this to align them so that they'll be in the same alignment. You're selecting only the text, then you make them align like this. This way is perfect, and their position in respect to X should be 24. Is fine. Then similarly, we'll do that to the circle. So select only the circle by holding down your shift key. Select only the circles and continue doing that until the last one. So now we're going to group them, so align them, and also move them towards the edge, which should be around 325. So once you're done, you can group them like that. If they are not grouping fine, you can just leave it. So now we are done with that. We're going to take it and say here, overlay selection content as well. So you take it and put it inside the frame and align it to the center and also take it up. So now we are done with this tool. So the next thing we're going to do is to start connecting our content to it. So I'll start with the business category, right? So in the business category, we want to institution in such a way that if the user click here, this overlay opens and they'll have option to select from the drop down, then it will replace it here, right? So now the first thing we're going to do, since we have many categories inside that are within the frame, so we may want to detach it outside the frame first like this so that we can see clearly. Then you keep the overlay the way it is. Now what we're gonna do next is to duplicate this second screen and bring it here. This is going to be a long process, but I'd like you to pay close attention so that you get it all. So now we move it here. What we want to do, the first one is clothing, right? So we want, if the overlay selection is open, this closing to will be navigated to this, right? So now for us to do that, we're going to select this business selection here. So we're going to go to our prototype and select this business category here. So if user tap on this, it should be navigated to this overlay. Okay, let's do it like this so that we'll have more spacing, and do it like this, and do it like this. So I want it to come like this. So all right, so on this selection dot, I want the user click here, they should be directed here. It's fine, that is how it wants to go. Now we're gonna leave this for now. Let's focus here. Then here on the selection, let's say the user select on this, right? So they should be able to navigate to the next frame. Now the first one is what? Fashion and clothing, right? So here we're going to come here and update this text to fashion and clothing. So fashion and clothing. Now this time we'll change the opacity of the text back to 80%. Stapler. So let's take it back to 100. Okay, and change. All right, that's fine. So this way now we'll make sure the X spacing of the text is somewhere around only the text show. Okay, since they are in the same layout with this group icon, so you may want to do it manually. Maybe you have to force put auto layout to it, Shift A. So when you add auto layout, this way you're able to add more spacing between the two of them, right? So here, that's fine. Oops. Let me zoom in so that we'll see clearly. So here, don't want it to move together. So I'll move. All right, that's fine. It's not trying to, so leave it like that. So now we replace that with fashion categories, right? So we're going to create all the screen for each and every one of the selection. Is that taken? So we're going to duplicate this more. Okay. The second one is beauty and what? Fashion. So we're going to update this to beauty and fashion. Okay. Then we'll continue duplicating. duplicate this and update this to, what's the next one? Electronics and gadgets. So change this to electronics and gadgets. Okay, so you copy that one more. Then the next category is what? Home and furniture. So this will be home and furniture. Home and furniture. All right. So the next one will be what is going to be the next one? Health and wellness. So duplicate this one more and update the text to health and wellness. All right. Then we'll do that until we finish all the categories. Then we have food and beverages, arts and crafts. So one more. I'll update the text here to food and beverages. Then I'll copy more and update it as well to arts and crafts. All right. So then the next one is what? Let's check from the next two. After that, we have automotive, sports and fitness, tech and gadgets. So I might not do all, but take your time to do all. So I would also take my time to do all in the background. So I will just do the ones we can do until we finish. So here, tech and gadgets. All right. And next one be automotive. So take your time to do that. I'm going to forward this part until it's complete. So we're gonna have import and export. So I'll fast forward this part then until it's complete. Automotive accessories, automotive accessories. All right, so now we're done with all the screens. So what we're going to do now is to bring back the overlay where it is, right? But before that, let's just connect them all one after the other. Okay, so let's go back to our prototype. If user click on this selection drop down, this overlay should open like this as an overlay. Okay, so here on tab, overlay. So now this overlay, what do you want to, where do you want it to be? Want it to connect to this screen. Are you together? So want this overlay to connect to this screen like this. That is if user select on this, right? But what you want is not that. Let's remove this first. Let's delete this overlay, sorry, but not for that. So let's put in our content inside the frame. Now what you want, if the user click on this place, this overlay should open, right? Now we want this to be as an overlay, that is open overlay, right? Now we want it to be manual and we want it to be inside the center like this of this frame. This is where the overlay is going to be positioned. All right, so we are done with that. Now what happened next, we want, if the user click on fashion and clothing, now they should be changed to this screen. All right, so it's going to change to this fashion and clothing. Is that taken? Now if the user click on this fashion and clothing again, we want them to be directed back to the overlay. All right, so that they'll be able to select another one. Okay, so this overlay will come in the middle like this. Just try to follow it gently until you get all these steps. All right, so we are done with that. So I'm gonna go zoom out like this. So now we select the second one, which is beauty, and connect it to the beauty screen. So once the user select on that, the screen, the update selection should change to this. And the same thing, if the user wants to change back again, they can click on this selection and the overlay will also open, and the overlay should be open somewhere around in the middle of the screen like this. That way they will have option to select another one that they don't want. Okay, so we position it into the center of the frame. All right, so next is electronics. We select electronics and connect it to electronics. Then we bring it back to somewhere like this, and also make the electronics. If they want to update the selection, they should also be back to the overlay. Back to the overlay and position where you want the overlay to be inside the center of the frame. So we're gonna zoom out. The next one is home and furniture, right? So we're gonna select home and furniture and connect it to home and furniture page. Then we bring it like this. Then if the user want to make changes, they should also be able to go back to the overlay, and also the overlay should be positioned here. Is that taken? So now we're done with that. So we have more. So we're going to double click inside the frame, and the next one is going to be this, right? So for us to see that, we might need to detach it out this side the frame. So let's detach it outside the frame so that we can see it. So the next one is health and wellness. So we're going to connect health and wellness to health and wellness page. So this is health and wellness. So health and wellness, this is it. So we're going to select that and connect it to health and wellness, right? So similarly, if the user wants to update, they should be able to go back to the overlay as well, and the overlay should be positioned where it is like this. All right, then we proceed to the next one, which is the arts furniture. So furniture should be connected to the furniture page. I don't want us to be going across, so I can bring these pages down here so that we'll be able to see what we're doing. Do you have more pages? Yeah, we have. So let me bring them down and also bring this one down. You have more? Yeah, bring this one down and also bring this one down. All right, so now we're going to align this and see how we do it. So let me bring them together. So this one will come here, this one will come here, and that one will also come here. All right, so now the next one is art and crafts, right? So this is the art and crafts. We are done with this, right? Let's select it to see if the prototype is already there. It's not there. But what about this one? Prototype is there. So we're going to continue from food and beverages. Where is this? So this food and beverages. So we're going to connect it to this, right? And also connect this part, food and beverages selection, back to the overlay. So here, and also align it to the center of the frame. Okay. So the next one is going to be art and craft, which is this. We're going to connect it to art and craft. And similarly, when user tap on this, can also be able to make changes and go back to the overlay. All right. So the same thing, the overlay should be positioned inside the frame like this. All right. So the next one is what? Tech and gadgets. So we're going to look tech and gadgets. If user click here, they should be directed to this screen, and they should also be able to go back to make any selection if they want to make that changes to the overlay, and the overlay should be inside the frame like this. All right. And the next one is what? Import and export. So this should go to the import and export screen, and the user should also be able to make another selection by going back to the overlay. So, and take this and take this to the overlay here, and the overlay should also be inside the frame. All right, just take your time to go through it carefully. You should be able to achieve that. Now, once you are done, you zoom out and take this selection frame and put it back inside the overlay frame like this, and align it, into the center of the frame. So you should have something like this, right? All right, now let's make a preview and see so far if our selection is working and our component is also working. So select the screen to sign up and go to preview. So you should have this. I click on select, you can see it's working, right? And it's also scrollable, and once you click, you can see it has updated, and if you want to select back, you can also come back. So it's working perfectly. That's excellent. That's it. It's working. Then here user can click yes, user can click no. So now we're going to update that. So we're done with this part. Now let's go to the next part, which has to do with the how did you hear about us selection here. So that one too, we're going to follow the same procedure. So in this lecture, we're going to stop here. In the next lecture, we're going to connect how did you hear about us. See you in the next lecture.